There is a very strange kind of person. They can sit in a room full of laughter, still smile, still nod, still answer at the right moment. But inside they are completely not there. Their mind has already drifted somewhere else, maybe to a question from a few days ago. Maybe to a passage from a book they read and still cannot let go of. Maybe just to that hard-to-name feeling that the scene in front of them is happening, but they somehow feel outside of it. If you have ever felt that way, then you are probably not cold. You are not hard to approach either. It is just that your inner world works differently, deeper, slower, and more real than what other people can see on the surface. This video is not here to flatter you with feel-good words, and it is not here to put a pretty label on you. It talks about a very rare group of people. In the original script, there is mention of a publication in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, suggesting that only about 2% of people carry a combination of psychological traits, different enough to make them often feel out of step with the majority. Not better than anyone, not above anyone, just wired differently. And that difference makes them grow up with a familiar feeling, is there something wrong with me? But most of the time, what is wrong is not who they are. What is wrong is the mold they are being forced to fit into. The first sign is something most people misunderstand. You do not hate communication. You are just exhausted by communication that stays too shallow. Small talk, repeated conversations, empty words said just for the sake of saying them, those things feel normal to many people. But for you, they drain your energy very quickly. Not because you are arrogant, not because you are rude, but because your mind is not built to stop at the outer layer. When someone asks, "How have you been lately?" you do not want to say, "Fine." You want to talk about what is really happening inside your mind. You want to say something honest. You want to touch a conversation that actually means something. If you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe to the channel and stay until the end. Because the further we go, the more you will understand why some people look completely ordinary on the outside, yet live an inner life that most people never get to see. And because of that, you are often misunderstood in the place that matters most. Other people think you like isolating yourself. But the truth is, you just need to be alone in order to recover. For you, being alone and being lonely are two completely different things. You can be in the middle of a crowd and still feel empty. But you can also be alone in a quiet room listening to the fan, the rain, watching the evening light fall across the wall, and suddenly feel your mind returning to its natural rhythm. That is not avoidance. That is recharging. But society often teaches that outgoing people are the ones who are fine, while those who need silence must have something wrong with them. That is why so many people like you have carried guilt for years, simply because they do not live like the majority. When in truth you are not broken at all. You just need a different kind of rest. The second sign is that you almost never believe something just because someone says it is true. You always ask, why? There are things other people hear and instantly move on from, but you keep thinking about them. There are conversations that ended long ago, but in your mind, you still replay every small detail. Did I say that right? What did the other person really mean? What does that reveal about something bigger? Sometimes you watch a movie that others see as pure entertainment, but you get caught in the meaning behind the ending. You cannot stay on the surface for long. Your mind automatically digs deeper, and yes, this makes you tired, but it is also what gives you the ability to notice patterns, read between the lines, and see doors that other people never even notice. The third sign is the rarest one. You are not afraid of uncertainty the way people assume. In fact, many times you think most clearly when there is no clear answer yet. Most people want to know immediately what they should do, what is right or wrong, whether they should or should not, whether they gain or lose. But you can leave a question there for a long time, not because you are indecisive, but because you understand that some things become more wrong the more you force an early conclusion. You can hold two opposite possibilities at once and still accept that both may contain some truth. You understand that life is not only black and white, it contains many shades of gray. And those gray areas are where people truly live. If that sounds like you too, comment the number 8. I want to know how many people have been called overthinkers, when in reality, they were simply looking at life more carefully than others. The fourth sign is that you have a second life that exists entirely inside your mind. On the outside, you may look very calm, But inside, you have never really been quiet. You have rehearsed conversations before they happened. You have already imagined different outcomes, different reactions, different answers. You have sat alone for a very long time without actually wasting time, because your mind was processing something seriously. Other people may look at you and think you are distant, distracted, or mysterious. But the truth is, you are present on a deeper level. That is where your intuition lives. That is where your creativity lives. That is where ideas are born that would never appear without silence. Many people only live with what their eyes can see. But you also live in a much larger space, made of things that have not yet been spoken. The fifth sign is the feeling that you never truly belong anywhere. You can fit in. You may even fit in quite well. You still know how to talk, how to be friendly, how to make others feel comfortable. But deep inside, there is always a still point telling you that you stand slightly apart from the crowd. That distance is not big enough for everyone to notice, but it is big enough for you to feel it for years. You care about things that not everyone pays attention to. You are touched by things that other people pass by very quickly. You have tried to become simpler, tried to be less deep, tried to be less sensitive, tried to change yourself so you could fit the world better. But the more you tried, the more exhausted you became. Because what drains you most is not being different. It is pretending that you are not. And this is the most important part. Maybe all your life you have heard many different names given to you. Too sensitive, too thoughtful, too hard to understand, too quiet, too heavy for an ordinary conversation. But if you strip away all those labels, what you find at the core is actually something beautiful. It is depth. It is a curiosity that refuses to stop. It is the ability to sit with complexity without rushing to crush it into an easy answer. It is an inner world, rich enough to create feelings, ideas, and perspectives that most people do not have. Those qualities do not make you broken. Many times they are exactly what creates the people who write words that deeply move others think of something new, ask questions no one has asked before, or understand another person's pain in a way that is very rare. If you have read this far and see yourself in these words, comment the number 9. I want to know which sign touched you the most. Maybe you were never as wrong as you thought. Maybe what you need is not to fix yourself so you can become like everyone else, but to understand yourself clearly enough to stop apologizing for your nature. Not everyone who lives deeply has to live sadly. Not everyone who needs silence is lonely. And not everyone who is different from the majority has a problem. Sometimes they are simply more honest with what is happening inside them. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. If this message gave words to something you have felt but never knew how to name, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who has always felt like they were standing outside without knowing why. Maybe just one video is enough to help them feel a little lighter.